Matsalane Mamabolo, South Africa's most successful soccer writer.
You Pirates fans were looking for Rulani to come. You guys are unrealistic. Rulani Mukwena, Pirates.
3 times winner of Premiership Soccer Writer of the Year and 3 times winner of the Sports Writer of the Year. Every day he takes you inside SA Soccer, exclusive to omniaudioafrica. Weekdays, 9:30 a.m.
What a weekend, what a weekend. Did you see Mbekezeli Mbokazi? Oh, that name. I heard Coach Hugo Bruce also struggling with it because somebody said Mbokazi and he didn't understand. Mbekezeli Mbokazi scored an incredible goal, a screamer to help Orlando Pirates, who were fast looking like they just could not score. Pirates were all over Siwelele and the goals were just not coming, and the young man took it upon himself to show the strikers how it should be done. What a goal. And then Kaiser Chiefs, Ntwari. Have you ever seen a player refusing to get off the pitch to be substituted? The Rwandan goalkeeper, who had last played back in November in the self-same Carling knockout competition, gets his chance to play. It's something that surprised me, and we'll talk about that. So this is what we are going to look at. The Carling knockout, Mamelodi Sundowns getting knocked out, Washington Arubi starring there in the penalties. And then this exciting news, Amajita through to the FIFA World Cup round of 16. The second time now as South Africa that we are doing that. We beat the US. It's why we call this the beautiful game, right? A Monday like this, it's just so much. There's the Motsepe Foundation Championship, and as usual, we will talk to Tshepang Mailwane. He's on the line joining me. He's Soccer Laduma's soccer journalist, a good friend of this show. Tshepang, good morning and welcome to Inside SA Soccer.
Good morning and thank you for having me again.
Yeah,
I'm not in studio this time.
Yeah,
but
no,
it's
no, you'll come in some other time. These things happen, commitments and all that. You've heard the things I've highlighted. For me, Mbekezeli Mbokazi keeps growing and growing. Where I was at Orlando Stadium and almost everyone celebrated. The incredible thing is, even in the press box, you've been there. The SABC broadcasters, they were all screaming. I don't think they are fans, but it was the kind of goal that got everybody on their feet. I was talking to one guy, and years back there was a goal that Muisi Ajao, you'll remember, the big Nigerian. I think
I remember that goal.
You remember when he scored that? It's what did you make of that? Orlando Pirates, we all know last season knocked out in the first round by Magezi, and then they win the way they did, and as luck would have it, they get drawn against the same Magezi. Yeah, but just looking back at the Pirates match, their win, Mbokazi scoring, as I said, what did you make of how Pirates performed?
Yeah, firstly, when you talk about people clapping and appreciating that goal, I've seen situations like that, maybe not here, but abroad, where Ronaldo scored that bicycle kick against Juventus, and it was so good that the Juventus supporters, gave him a standing ovation, same as Ronaldinho against Real Madrid some years ago. He was so good that day that even the Real Madrid fans were like, we have to give this guy standing ovation. And I think the goal that Mbokazi scored that day, you don't have to be an Orlando Pirates supporter to appreciate the beauty in that goal. It was, I was at the Tuks game and I got to only see it afterwards with some of the highlights, and I was like, my goodness me.
Yeah,
this boy just keeps growing, and what's incredible about him is that he's 19 and he's playing such a big role in that Pirates team. He's like a leader now. He wears the captain's armband.
Yeah.
And I think the only 19-year-old that I've seen captain in the team was Fernando Torres at Atleti.
Yeah.
Before he joined Liverpool, he was 19 as well. And Mbokazi is just showing these leadership qualities, and he's proving to be their go-to man at times. And I don't mean go-to only with goals, because I think it's only his first goal of the season, but his go-to in terms of defending, because we underestimate how important defenders can be in a victory. So he's done that for them. He scored late on in the game, and obviously Pirates, I'm sure, would have wanted it to be a bit easier, but sometimes that's how you win games. Those moments of brilliance. And look, I think this should be his last season in the PSL.
No, I mean that's exactly what everybody's saying. Even look, the transfer window is closed. Coach Hugo Bruce, Bafana coach, keeps saying that. I mean, a lot of us. I mean, before in that match, I was talking to a few journalists about how I felt he should have gone to the FIFA World Cup under 20, because there you are being watched by bigger. It's a bigger platform. Here at home, you're playing against normal players that you always play against. We were laughing actually. Look, I mean, he's going to be marking a Christian Saile and whatever. Whereas at the Club World Cup, but Coach Hugo Bruce, I had him explaining that, look, yes, this boy should be there, but we need him. That's just how important he is. That Coach Hugo Bruce says to Raymond Mdaga, listen, I've got two important qualifiers and I need this boy. I mean, that talks to just the quality of the man and just the importance of him, that the senior national coach says, I need him. And he's showing that.
No, definitely. I mean, with guys like Mutobi Mvala out, Grant Kekana out, CBC was out recently, you know, there's no one else, in my opinion, who should be able to come in and replace those guys who are not available. And now I even feel like Mbokazi has moved ahead of them. So if Grant Kekana recovers, Mutobi recovers at some point, CBC's back, I think he's even moved ahead of them, looking at his form and just how well he defends, and the fact that he's a left-sided centre-back, because we don't have too many, let me say, of the highest quality left-sided centre-backs in the country. So he is that important. And yes, we would have loved to have him at the World Cup. But for me, it's not entirely a train smash. And here's why I say that. Because I've seen players secure moves abroad based on their performances in the Champions League. For example, Lehloonalo Masalesa moved to Greece some years ago, the Greek top flight. And I remember him saying they saw him in the CAF Champions League. Andy Lejali moved to Belgium while he was playing for Pirates in the Champions League. So as much as you have eyes on you at the World Cup, and it would have been valuable experience for him, the door is not closed in terms of the scouts who can see him, 1 in the Champions League, 2 in the World Cup qualifiers, 3 in the Africa Cup of Nations at the end of this year, and if it happens, the 2026 FIFA World Cup. So I think he has many opportunities to still get scouted by clubs abroad. And I've even heard from a source that there was a club in Belgium interested in him, and even Ribeiro wanted him at Al Ahly. So it means that there are people watching, and if he continues this way, it's possible.
No. Let's hope so, because as we say, the more of our young players going abroad, the better for our national team. I mean, talking of Pirates still, Coach Owadu, he is a man who came in, there were doubts, everybody was talking about, we want Rulani, he comes in and, Plumber, all those. But one of the things that I like about him is he's not very old. He seems to still have this, the player mentality in him. You saw, I don't know if you watched, but if you saw that, I was at the stadium, as I said, a ball came through, kicked towards the bench where he was, and he chest trapped it and showed his skills and the excitement from the crowd. And at the press conference when we spoke to him, he was talking about how he still feels like he's part of this. He's just retired 15 years ago. You see how excited he celebrated that goal. He forgets that he's still wearing a sling, and he says, "Oh, I have to go see a physio." He is growing on some of us. I don't know about you, but I'm beginning to. I had my doubts. I thought he's good, but I had my doubts about whether he'll be great for Pirates. But slowly but surely, he's just becoming. We are slowly beginning to forget there was a Jose Ribeiro, and that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, true. And it talks to, at times, our levels of patience as South African football supporters, because when a new coach comes in, there's a lot that he probably has to do and understand. He went to a preseason in Spain and had to use so many players so that he can see all of them. And when you have a slow start, I guess I understand a bit where Pirates fans were coming from. When you had someone like Jose who was doing so well for you and winning games and winning cups, when someone new comes in, they expect you to hit the ground running. So those first 3 games where there was just a lot of uncertainty, I felt that the supporters maybe should have shown a bit more patience rather than, because this is someone who's new in the job, and you need to give him a bit of time to fully get the best out of the Pirates players. And now look, 2 months later, and then the guy seems like he's flying, and it seems like Pirates are going to be genuine contenders for the title. And by genuine, I mean it's going to be close. I feel it's going to be close. Whereas in obviously the last 3 seasons under Rivero, the gap was just big, so much. So he's already through to the Carling knockout next round, and that keeps the hopes of a second trophy alive. Because last season they got knocked out in the first round. So there's so much good there, and the key thing is obviously just to maintain that, because it's easy to lose the dressing room as a coach, to inconsistent results, and fans are on you, and there's pressure. You could lose absolutely everything. So it's important just to maintain it all and keep the players happy. And Pirates, I think, can be very dangerous, but he's done well so far. But the key, obviously, is maintaining it.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking so glowingly about Pirates, but we go across the, what do they call that station, the Mlamlankunzi train rail, over to Orlando West, where Kaiser Chiefs are, and things are just not looking good. Knocked out of the Carling knockout by Stellenbosch FC, a Stellenbosch FC that they generally beat. But I think the big talking point there was Fiakri Ntwari refusing to be substituted. For me, I was shocked that he started. And I was sitting there thinking, we are going to play against Rwanda as South Africa shortly in next Tuesday in the World Cup qualifiers. We know that Ntwari is their number 1 goalkeeper. And here's a South African team giving Ntwari match practice when we were thinking, keep him on the bench because then he comes in rusty. But he comes in, he plays, and he didn't have a bad game. Kept clean sheet for 120 minutes, even saved the first penalty. But Cedric Kazi after the match said, this guy has been substituted and we will talk about it. But he was confident that he will save the penalties. How do you make sense of all that has happened? I've never seen, I've covered football for 30 years. I don't have a memory of a player refusing to get off. I know players will be grumpy when they get taken off. But what did you make of Ntwari's reaction to being taken off?
Yeah, well, I've never seen it locally, but it happened with Kepa Arrizabalaga. He's a former Chelsea goalkeeper. And it happened the same way it did with Ntwari, where just before a penalty shootout, I forgot who the goalkeeper was. It might have been Willy Caballero, the second choice, who's good at saving penalties, and they wanted to bring him on. And Kepa refused. And he was he had his hand in the air like a 5 and saying, wait, no, I can do this. And I think he saved a few penalties in that shootout. So in this case, it's a tricky one. Because I feel the player 1 is wrong to refuse. There's an instruction that has been given to you by authority to come off. And as much as you believe in yourself as a goalkeeper, if a coach, someone in charge says, look, we are making this decision, you need to think of the team before you think about yourself. So I feel that's what they could have done, or what he should have done. He should have just come off. If it doesn't work out, you leave it at that. It is what it is. It's a decision that the technical team will have to take responsibility for. But then there's also this thing where that's why I say it's tricky. At the same time, he must have felt but these people are not taking me serious. What makes them believe that I can't save any penalties? And the reason I say this is because Bruce has not played a single minute of football this season. So you want to replace me with someone who has not
Yeah.
played a single minute of football. You haven't even given him 10 minutes
10.
of football to.
Yes,
And
yes.
secondly, if people remember, I think it was last season when Chiefs were knocked out in the Nedbank Cup by Milford. Was it? No, not,
Yeah,
not last season. They won the Nedbank Cup last season.
the season
The
before.
previous season.
Mm.
5 penalties Bruce did not save. I don't know if I've ever seen Bruce save penalties in a shootout. I
Yeah.
mean, my memory, I could be wrong.
Yeah, sure.
But what gives Chiefs, unless it's something they did in training, and it
Yeah.
should have been something they
They
discussed
discussed
in
before.
training. If we go to penalties, guys, Bruce is gonna come on, and that's the final
Yes.
thing. But if they didn't, then I understand his
Why?
surprise at why are they taking me off. And
Yeah.
Bruce, for me, has never proven to be a goalkeeper who saves
Saves.
penalties. So it was a strange thing for me.
Yeah.
But he should have gone off.
But also, okay, here's the thing. What I also found strange is you go to the technical to the referees on the bench and says, the fourth official, this is a change we are making. If you do that, the player has no reason to say no. You can throw your toys. I mean, talking of throwing your toys, years and years ago, there was a club called Dynamos in the NSL. Coach Walter Rodman was the coach, and he brought in, he took off Gora Ibrahim. And Gora Ibrahim was so angry, he went off, kicked coach Walter Rodman, karate style, hey, kung fu style, flying kick, knocked him out. And yeah, you do that, but you're out, and the club will sort it out. But look, we wait to see what Kaiser Chiefs will do with that. For me also, what Ntwari did says to me, there's a lack of respect for authority there. And I'm beginning to wonder, is it because it's two assistant coaches and the guy does not respect them, And then it says, why is it that Kaiser Chiefs are now taking forever to make the decision on this whole coaching thing? Nazreddin Nabi is clearly gone. I saw he watched Pyramids. He was in Egypt taking a picture with Fiston Mayele there. Why are Chiefs not just deciding we're getting rid of this one? We need a coach. I mean, Cedric Gazi and especially Yusuf Ben Khalil always works with Nabi. Once Nabi gets a job somewhere, once Chiefs officially say he's gone, I don't think these two are going to stay. But like I say, it's a story for another day. We will talk about Kaiser Chiefs. Now, they are out. Stellies are in. Stellies, former winners previously, they were in the cup finals. It's good for them because Stellies were just having a nightmare in the league, struggling. This win is going to come in handy. They are going into the Confederation Cup preliminary second round matches. So that's good for them. Now, Mamelodi Sundowns, were you surprised? I mean, one of the for me, Sundowns losing, it's through shootout from the penalty. Washington Arubi, the star there. We are playing Zimbabwe next as Bafana Bafana. That must give him some confidence and Zimbabwe to say, maybe we can. We can beat Bafana.
Yeah, funny, the goalkeepers that we are playing against in the qualifiers are doing well just before the game. Maybe they're inspired. But with Sundowns, I don't know if I'd say I'm surprised. I didn't think going into that game they were like overwhelming favorites. Sometimes Sundowns can go into a game, or let me say previously, before the start of this, they'll go into a game you're like, there's no way Marumo Gallants will win this. And if Marumo win it, it is a surprise. But in this case, I don't think so. Sundowns, since the start of the season, haven't really been themselves. There are games where they play well. I remember I went to the game against Durban City. I think they won 3-1. And they beat Richards Bay not so long ago. And in those games, I felt like, Sundowns are playing well.
Yeah.
But then in other games, it's like, what is happening here? When they lost to Arrows, you ask yourself, what is happening? There's no fluidity in their play. Tebza is not in the best form, but when he gets to Bafana, he's like a totally different player. He's been starting off the bench in the last 2 games. Mudaos hasn't really found his form. Basin has come in and hasn't really kicked on as a new player. So there's a lot that's currently missing in that team, and them being knocked out is really not a surprise for me. And I feel that it increases the pressure on
Coach Miguel Cardoso.
Yes, it does, because you're out of another cup competition. The last time Sundowns won a cup competition was 2022.
Yeah.
And now they've gone 3 years without a trophy outside of the league title and the African Football League, which they won under Rulani Mukwena. But it's a concern that a team like Sundowns, with the quality they have, can't do well in cup competitions. They should, be concerned and ask themselves, but guys, why are we struggling? It's just 4 games to win a Kali knockout.
Yeah, sure.
And it's 4 games to win an MTN 8. What's the problem?
Yeah.
But you can go 30 games and win the league. So there are problems there that need to be addressed soon. And it will be interesting to see if they make a decision, because last season when they let Mangawa go, they were not happy with the style.
Yeah, that's exactly that. That's exactly that.
You didn't need to be consistent with your decisions, because right now Sundowns are not playing good football.
Yeah.
They're not impressive. So are they going to do the same with Miguel or give him time?
Yeah.
Then we need to question management on what is it that they want.
That's exactly that. I mean, I was there when they announced Miguel coming on. Excitement. Here's a guy who's going to get us playing the Sundowns way. Mangoba is not doing that. But we are not seeing that with Miguel Cardoso. And the wins are not coming. So let's see how they do, how they will act. And I mean, from that match, the other Miguel, the new guy, Miguel Ricino, comes in 8 minutes on, very bad tackle. That tackle could be, you could have broken that guy's leg. Gets sent off. How does that impact on him? You always want to make an impression. And Nuno did that in his debut. But now this Miguel guy comes in and gets a red card. How did you assess him there? He was on the pitch for just 8 minutes, of course.
Yeah, not the best way to start your time at Sundowns, because I think a lot of people were looking forward to seeing him play. Now they're going to have to wait a bit more, because he'll serve a 2-match suspension with that red card. And I think, he must have the right type of experience not to let this affect him. Yes, it's not a good start to your life at Sundowns, but you can't let that obviously define you and define your tenure at the club. So I'm sure he will bounce back, and I'm sure Coach Miguel Cardoso will have a chat with him. And I haven't watched him play before. I don't know if that's the way he does things. If he's the type of player that usually gets red cards, but I'm sure it's just one of those moments. I've seen where players get red cards on their debuts and then they go on to be huge successes at their club. So it's just one of those where you had a bad start, but we shouldn't judge him too much on it.
Yeah, it's too early. And then the excitement, your team. I mean, just last week you and I spoke about Amajita. We even referred to that team, Yabo Ramatlwe, who reached their last 16 in 2009 out in Egypt. Now, Coach Raymond Mdaga and his boys have done it. Second in their group. They beat the US 2-1. They come from behind. That's beautiful stuff, isn't it? We as South Africans must be happy that our boys are now into the next round. We're going to play Colombia. But what excites you there by what they've done in this group stages?
Well, the first thing that excites me is that they went in as African champions, which comes with a huge responsibility and a lot of expectations. And they've lived up to that expectation. I think, sometimes you get into a cup or competition as a champion or as a favorite, and that pressure weighs heavily on players and they can't live up to that pressure and expectation. But these boys went into the World Cup, lost the first game, but still managed to bounce back and show that they are able to compete, which is what I said, remember, when we were having our chat, is that these days football, they're not really favorites. Everyone, I believe, goes onto the pitch with an ability to win a game. And that's what our boys have shown, that yes, it's France, or yes, it's USA, yes, it's New Caledonia. They are teams abroad, but we can compete against them. And another thing I mentioned is that while I was concerned about them not having enough preparation, the fact that they've been together long as a team, playing in the COSAFA, playing AFCON, playing friendly games, being in camps, that has created a brotherhood in that they can still compete even if they haven't had good preparations. And some of these players are playing week in and out at their clubs, and that helps them a lot. And we could see that it's benefiting them there at the World Cup. I'm very proud of what they've done. Guys like Smith Lowe in goal has stood up. Aseko Tiwani, the captain, came back from
Yeah.
that injury that he got in the first game at AFCON, and he's been showing great leadership qualities. As usual, Tylen Smith solid in the back, but I like what Lazo Lamaku and Khomole Mokekana are doing in the midfield.
Yeah.
Same as Shaquille April on the right. He's coming with goals and assists. And Tato Sibia came in yesterday as his first start, got an assist. Mfundo Vilagazi seems to be playing with a lot more freedom than he would at Kaiser Chiefs. Yes, at Kaiser Chiefs, I think there's a lot of pressure. And I think being in the same age group, playing with the people of the same age group, maybe with no supporters, really putting that much pressure, he's able to play with a more freedom. And he's playing good passes. He's taking shots at goal, and that's what I've always wanted to see from him, because I felt like there's something missing in him. But when he plays with under 20s, he's totally different. So it's very great, and I think statistically they will go down as the greatest under 20.
I think so. Yeah. No, they've done well. I mean, 2 wins already. And Colombia, a lot of people will have them as favorites, but I looked at it. We got 6 points from our group. They got 5.
They
we
got
start
5,
saying, we can beat these guys. I think Coach Raymond Mdaga should be given credit, because too often, we talk about coaches when they lose, but he's done well, and we should be proud that we are through to the next round. And let's not get content with that. Let's go to the next round. Now let's shift our focus to the league that you specialize in, Motsepe Foundation. You follow that. We looked ahead to the matches. We spoke about the clubs that everybody expected them to do well. There were matches this weekend, and again, attacks. For example, a team that we thought would do well. They've got Kwanele Kopo. They just cannot seem to buy a win, even if they tried.
Yeah, it's strange, eh? I was at the game against Kazrik, and I felt that they played well. My concern, obviously, is something I've mentioned, is that Tuks don't create too many opportunities, and they don't take the opportunities that they create. And they scored first. I think it was around the 78th minute. Piani scored. And then when you think that they can hold on get the win, they concede in the 85th minute. And it's something I asked the coach, and he's also not entirely sure what is happening in terms of them not being able to hold on and see through, because you never know what a win can do for you sometimes. With confidence wise, once you get that first win, at times it just sets you on a good run. So he has some time now during the FIFA break to work on certain areas in the team, and obviously the big one is up front. Like I say, Tuks don't concede. It's either they're going to keep a clean sheet or concede once. The only time they've conceded twice in a game was against Leopards when they drew 2-2. But outside of that, they're usually keeping a clean sheet or just conceding one. So I don't feel their problems are at the back.
It's up front.
Their problems are up front, and I feel like they need something different, man. They play with big strikers, either Piani or Prince Numalo, but maybe they also need a mobile striker at times who gives them a different option.
Yeah. And then, our favorite team, I call it favorite team because they are from our home township, Baroka FC. How's Coach Dan? How did they do this weekend?
Yeah, I think Coach Dan should start worrying there, because they've now gone 4 games without a win. They've lost 4 of their 6 matches. They lost 2-0 to Milford over the weekend. Milford now moved top of the table ahead of Kazrik, because Kazrik dropped points away from home. But Baroka, and this one was at home.
Yeah.
And that's a big concern. We spoke about it earlier on before the season started, that if you don't win your home games, you're in trouble. And now they're number 12 on the log with 4 points after 6 games. And that means they're at 11 points already behind the leaders. And you don't want to be that far behind. Yes, it's still early in the season, but there's no guarantee as well that you yourself will pick up points and you'll find form soon. So they're far behind, and I worry for Coach Dan.
Yeah.
Knowing the chairman, I really worry for Coach Dan because it's not a good start at all.
Yeah, no. And then just generally, who is doing how? We Black Leopards, do they still use an outfield player as a goalkeeper, or have they sorted that out?
No, from what I understand, is that they've been allowed to register players, so
Okay.
but they lost over the weekend. And I feel that once they get things right, Leopards are not a bad team. From what I've seen and what I've watched in some of the games, they're not a bad team. I think once they find their rhythm, they're currently bottom of the log, number 6.
Yeah.
But I think they'll find their rhythm. Cape Town City lost again. Now that's six games without a win, 3 defeats, 3 draws, only 3 points in 6 games.
Yeah, no, that's
and
bad.
you wonder, is this going to be a case of Cape Town Spurs getting relegated from top flight
directly
to the NFD?
and
then
to
from the
lower
NFD
ones.
to Mozambique, is it going to happen with Cape Town City as well?
Sure.
Which then raises the question: what is happening in Cape Town?
Yeah.
Why is it that
They are
these teams are, what is happening there? So it's worrying.
Especially because these are clubs that financially they are very stable. You always think the clubs that will struggle are the ones that don't. But let's see that. I mean, we really appreciate you keeping us updated when it comes to the Motsepe Foundation. But overall, your insights into South African football, we really value it here on Inside SSOC. And once again, thank you so much for joining us. It would have been nice to have you in the studio, but we know things happen. We will have you sometime soon. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, I'll be there soon. Thanks for having me, and have a good week.
Sure. Yeah, that's Tshepang Mailwane just helping us look back at the weekend that was. And as I said, excitement all around. We are talking about Mbekezeli Mbokazi's goal and then Fiacre Ntwari's actions. We wait to see what Kaiser Chiefs are going to do with it. Cedric Kaze has said they will deal with it at the club. But he's leaving. He's going to be with Rwanda. We will see him next Tuesday against Bafana. Is he going to stop us? Washington Arubi has won over Ronwen Williams, although it was in shootouts. There are no shootouts in the match against Zimbabwe on Friday in Durban. But that's that. So that's the show for us today. But going forward, we will be looking ahead to Bafana. Coach Hugo Bruce actually has an arrivals press conference later today, and we will bring that to you in the next show. Thank you for joining us here on Inside SA Soccer with me, Bra Jakes.